He says, "Hey, Zach, seeing as you talked about Rush last time, have you ever watched Formula One racing or thought of covering it? There's an excellent Netflix series called Formula One Drive to Survive that covers the 2018 season, and the 2019 season will be coming out soon." So this question came in a while back, and I didn't answer it. I sat on it. I waited for a while because I knew, hey, I'm going to New York soon. I'm going to be on a plane for a long time, and not just on a plane for a long time, but stuck in airports, stuck waiting in lines. You know, flying does not just include the time you're in the air. It also includes the hours you're stuck at airports. So for me, what I did is I spent that time watching Formula One Drive to Survive. I, downloaded all the stuff onto my phone. And I got to say, I am, on the other side of that, I am so in love with Formula One racing. I love it, man. I've always loved racing. It's been one of those kind of guilty pleasures of mine. One of my favorite movies of all time is the movie Rush. It's about James Hunt and Niki Lauda, two Formula One racers. It's got Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor in the Avengers movies. It's a phenomenal movie. If you ever want to watch it, even if you don't, I just recommend go watch Rush. It'll really open your mind to what Formula One racing is. And then go watch Formula One Drive to Survive. If you've never, ever paid attention to Formula One racing, it will really, really open your eyes and you'll go, oh my gosh, this is a cool thing. I really think if you have any inclination, go watch it. Now, me personally, I've always been fascinated with racing. But the problem was I grew up in America, and in America, the only real example I had in front of me of racing on a mainstream stage was NASCAR. And I don't connect with NASCAR. The left turns, the culture, I know there's more to it. It's all about the cars and the drivers and overtakes, but for me, I just never really connected with NASCAR. It never worked for me. But Formula One, I get it. It really, really excites me. There's more than just left turns. It's really complicated. There's so many little layers to Formula One racing, and I love the culture. I love all of it. I go, oh man, it just spoke to me. It made me really excited and really happy. So number one, I got to say, first of all, I am so glad that Formula One approved the idea for the Netflix series Drive to Survive. Formula One got on board. The teams that got involved for season one, Red Bull was a big part of it. Renault was a big part of it. Haas was a big part of it. A lot of teams said, hey, we will open our doors. We'll bring in people. They can interview us. We'll give you all access. And I am so, so grateful for that. It's pretty clear in season one of Drive to Survive that Mercedes and Ferrari didn't trust it, didn't want to be a part of it. I don't know if maybe there was a barrier speaking English. I have no idea. But they kind of kept Netflix at arm's length. It's really cool that season two opens up with an interview with Ferrari. It opens up with an interview with Mercedes. Like, oh, wow. All that stuff is finally talked about. And that they, the two that kind of kept Netflix at arm's length, those two teams, Mercedes and Ferrari, opened up their doors for season two. And I got to say, man, I'm so glad that Formula One made it happen to give Netflix access, because as a result, they got me as a fan. I became a fan of Formula One racing because of the Netflix series, and that's so cool to me. I love it. You got to see the faces of the drivers. You got to get to know the team principals, who are basically like the head coach of the racing teams. You got to hear about the sponsors, hearing the story, seeing the faces, and getting to know the people behind Formula One sold me on the sport. I went, oh, that's awesome, and I love it. I'm a fan of the sport now. And I got to say, I'm going to follow Formula One racing this year. I tried following hockey, and it just didn't work for me. I like hockey. I enjoy live hockey. But hockey, to be honest, it happens too often. There's too many games for me to catch up and, stay involved with what's going on. And so it was overwhelming. Now, Formula One is very different. It's a new sport I'm going to cover, but there's a race only every 2 weeks. So I can go, oh, what happened? Digest it, make a video. I can make a video before each race and after each race every 2 weeks. Totally reasonable. I totally can do that. That makes sense to me. And so I love it. It's fast. It's exciting. There are so many cool storylines. There are rivalries. Drivers are leaving constantly and moving around. Personal stories. I cannot wait to watch Formula One this year. It starts on March 14th in Australia, and I'm going to follow Formula One this year. I am so excited.